to your equine education video. Today we're going to talk about routine care for our horses. We have beautiful Monet here, who's one of our adopted pony horses, who is going to be our demo for the day. So we are going to talk about routine care, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, and all the things that are required to be a good horse owner. So we're going to start off with daily. Daily things to do with your horse. First, your horse should get groomed daily. Not only does it build a bond between you and your horse, which is so important, but also it allows you to do things like when you're brushing her legs, to be checking for injuries and the rest of her body. It's super important to be checking that your horse isn't getting nicks out in the field or cut himself. As importantly, you want to be making sure that you're picking your horse's feet every day. Other routine cares for daily are feeding, watering, and if your horse gets any daily supplements or medication. So those are the things that daily you are required to do for your horse. Now, weekly, we have a few things that we have to do for our horse as well. Every week, we want to be cleaning our tack to make sure that it's staying healthy and also preventing any rubs on our horse. We want to be weekly monitoring their feed, how much they're eating, how their weight and condition's looking, their workload, to see if we need to make any changes in their feed. And we also need to just general care for the horse. Make sure that they're in good health, that they're not sick, making sure they're getting good turnout, and they're getting exercise. All of those are important and make up well-rounded care. Now, we move on to things that happen monthly or a little bit kind of more frequent or less frequent than monthly. So it depends on your horse, but every 4 to 6 weeks, we have to have the farrier come out and do their feet. So Monet's got big feet, so she actually is able to go a little longer. She's barefoot, she doesn't have shoes that she outgrows. So Monet is actually on a 7-week rotation, whereas some of the horses are on a 4 or 5 week rotation depending on their growth. So it's important to know your horse and their specific needs. Other things that come up on a larger scale are quarterly, so every 3 months, your horse needs to be dewormed. So we want to make sure to keep their intestines and everything inside nice and healthy by deworming them. So we do that every 3 months. And so that's every 3 months is 4 times a year. And it's really important to make sure that you have a schedule of when your horse was done last so you know and don't get anything missed. Especially in a large barn like this, it's easy to miss things. Now, the next thing we're going to look at is yearly care for my horse. So what things have to happen for Monet every year, or roughly every year? Everything's a little bit different depending on your horse's specific needs. Well, the first thing that has to happen every year is we need to do Monet's teeth. She's going to show you her teeth here. The vet comes out and has to do what's called floating their teeth. So if you remember from some of our other videos, their top jaw is bigger than their bottom and they chew sideways. So they grow points that can actually lacerate the inside of their mouth and not only give them ulcers, but make it harder to chew and make it so they're not absorbing as much of their food. So if your horse is being a little bit naughty and against the bit, or if your horse is dropping food, or if you notice they're pooping out a lot of their grain, you might need to check their teeth more frequently, but once a year you want to make sure their teeth are getting done. The other thing we need to do once a year is their vaccination. So depending on what area you're in, those change a little bit. We generally do flu, rhino, and tetanus to make sure our horses are staying healthy. And especially for those horses that go off to horse shows, it's important to make sure that you're protecting them and the other horses in your barn from bringing anything back in. Super important when you have a barn like ours that has so many horses as well as young babies and older horses. So you want to be able to protect all the ones that are here by vaccinating all the ones that are leaving and coming back. The other things that you might do once a year with your horse, more commonly with older horses or competition horses, is joint injections or regular maintenance, things like that your horse requires. So a lot of competition horses or older horses do require little cortisone injections, and those are generally once to twice a year. So make sure to chat with your veterinarian about keeping your horse happy, safe, sound, and healthy. All of these things are required for great horse care and ownership. So if you have any questions on how to take care of your horse, contact your veterinarian and make sure that you're keeping really good records. That's the best way to make sure you're staying on top of all of your horse's health. Thanks for following along.